Hello, I'm Jay Zoscale. I've decided that the victims of today's video would be my Lionel Legacy Conrail diesel locomotives, of which I have 3, and I'm just going to bundle them all into one video because I don't really have a whole lot to say about them. So we'll take a quick look at each locomotive. I'll say what I think about it, and then we'll just have them run around the layout. Up first on the chopping block would be the first locomotive I got in Lionel Legacy, the first Conrail, which we're just going to go chronological order. This is my GP30 from around 2011. I bought this engine in 2014 from Hobby Express in Cranberry, PA, so it sat on their shelf for a few years, and I brought it home. It ran fine. After a while it had some board issues, so we sent it back to Lionel, and they kept it for a while, came back fixed, and I've been running it ever since. It's a pretty good engine. It's not mind-blowing to me, but it's still a nice locomotive and definitely a good starter engine if you're just getting into the hobby. It's minimum curves 031, so definitely friendly to smaller layouts, and legacy engines of this time aren't really known for having board problems, so I think this one may have just been user error. Probably didn't have it on the track when I went to program it, but it's still a really nice engine, and I'm pretty dang happy to have it. Up next is my Legacy SD40. This one's from 2015, and I bought it last year from a good friend and fellow 3Rail Lounge member, 3Rail Tom. I'll link his YouTube and Instagram in the description, but I bought this from him last year, quite literally because my GP30 looked lonely when it was pulling a train, and I thought it was only appropriate to have a second Conrail locomotive, and of course it had to be Legacy so they'd run together. He offered me a deal I just couldn't pass up on this, so he sent it up to me, and it's a beautiful runner. This is a really, really nice engine. I really have nothing bad to say about this. It has the kinematic pilots, which is the semi-fixed, so they're on a spring. They can move side to side, but when it's going around a turn, the front pilot won't move at all, which makes it look a lot more realistic. And the sounds, I think, are the best pretty much of any Legacy diesel, and it's probably my favorite out of all 3 of them. So you'll see it leading a lot of trains, both in this video and in the future. If you follow me on Instagram, I run this locomotive a lot, so huge thanks to Tom for sending this engine up to me. I really love it. Additionally, this is the locomotive that earned me my nickname of the Elite Mr. Conrail, and that really only came about because I purchased this locomotive as well as a lot of my Conrail rolling stock from the same guy, which is 3Rail Tom. He just said he was going to start calling me Mr. Conrail, so I figured I might as well rebrand, capitalize on it. Last but certainly not least is my Lionel Conrail General Electric U30c. And this locomotive is non-powered, so it's not Legacy, but it is from, I guess, Legacy era. It's from 2008. And this locomotive was sent up to me by another 3Rail Lounge member, TJ's Toy Trains, which I'll also link his socials in the description. He found this locomotive and bought it for himself, and he decided it didn't really fit his layout, so he sent it up to Mr. Conrail himself, so I can run it with my other 2 Conrail locomotives. And I really like this locomotive just because it's a U30c. It's my first General Electric locomotive and my first 6-axle General Electric locomotive, so I'm really happy to have it. It's a fantastic looking engine. It runs great because it's non-powered, so there's not a lot to screw up there. But the only thing I don't really like about this engine is that Lionel didn't put any lights at all in it, so I'm probably going to buy a lighting kit for it just so that at least its number boards lights will be on when it's running with the other 2 engines. But otherwise, this is another fantastic engine that I'm really, really happy to have. The last piece I want to talk about, which, although it's not a locomotive, it is possibly one of my favorite pieces of rolling stock I have, is this Lionel Conrail bay window caboose with a functioning smoke unit. I've been on the lookout for one of these for a very long time. There are two that are relatively close to me. There's one in Norfolk Southern's Conway Yard, and then there's one in Ashtabula, Ohio. Out by the docks. It's practically abandoned there, but it's still a Conrail bay window caboose. And ever since I got the GP30 and SD40, I've wanted to have one, just because I think it would fit the other two engines really well, and it does. And I have to say, this is probably one of the most well-detailed pieces of rolling stock, caboose, boxcar, whatever. The entire interior is decorated. There's two crew figures in it. Obviously, it has the working smoke unit, which is a really nice touch. And the doors on either end of the car also open. They're sprung, which is a really cool feature. And again, this was sent to me by 3Rail Tom. He found this, and I bought it because I wasn't about to pass it up. So keep an eye out for this. It'll be running around behind the GP30. Alright, now there's nothing left to do but to start these trains up and get them running, so we'll go ahead and start with the GP30 first, and then we'll do the SD40. The GP30 is pulling every single piece of Conrail rolling stock that I have, minus 2 cabooses, because I didn't want to have 3 cabooses on this train. And then the SD40 and U30c will pull a short tanker train, and we'll run up those 2 trains for a little bit, and then we'll combine all 3 locomotives on one big modern freight train. So without further ado, I'll stop talking. Let's get the trains running. Thanks for watching.
Going to sign the register book, dispatcher. Out.